In 1494, Alfonso II became king of Naples, but through his wife he had claims on Milan as well. Plus his grandfather had deposed a Frenchman, René of Anjou, to claim the throne, meaning the French still claimed the kingdom. So Ludovico Sforza of Milan, who was worried about Alfonso's claims, gave the French military access to attack Naples. In October 1494, Charles VIII of France quickly marched through Italy, forcing Alfonso to abdicate in favour of his son, Ferdinand II. But Italian states, including Milan, were now scared of France, so they formed the League of Venice and tried to stop the French from retreating. However, they were defeated and Charles made it safely back to France, ending the First War. But a few years later, in 1498, Louis XII became King of France, and through his grandmother he had claims on Milan. So he gained Venetian and papal support by agreeing to divide Milan, before invading and quickly occupying Milan in 1499. Although Ludovico Sforza managed to retake Milan, his Swiss mercenaries betrayed him to the French. With Milan defeated, Louis agreed to divide Naples with the newly unified Spain, and together they quickly occupied the region. But they disagreed over the border, so the Spanish drove the French out of southern Italy. Plus, in 1503, Pope Alexander VI died. This allowed the lords of Romagna, who had been subdued by the Pope's son, Cesare Borgia, to seek protection from the Venetians, causing the Venetian Papal alliance to break down. So peace was made shortly afterwards, with the Spanish in control of Naples and France in control of Milan. Although Venice would later return a lot of Romagna, the new Pope Julius II feared their territorial ambitions, so along with Maximilian I, the Holy Roman Empire, they attacked Venice in 1508. Although Maximilian was defeated, the promise of Venetian land enticed France, Ferrara and Spain to join the League of Cambrai. The League quickly advanced into Venetian territory, but the Venetians held out and even retook Padua, and Spain soon left the war. Plus the Pope, who was now more fearful of French expansion, switched sides and joined the Venetians against the French. Together they captured Ferrara, but France moved into Romagna. So the Pope created the Holy League, which included England, and by 1513 they pushed France out of central Italy and reinstalled the Sforzas in Milan. However, Venice decided to switch sides because they disagreed with the division of Romagna, and Scotland's entry into the war alongside France ended in disaster at Flodden Field. But Francis I became King of France shortly afterward, and he turned the tide of the war. In 1515 he won at Marignano, recaptured Milan, and then made peace. The Treaty of London was supposed to keep Europe at peace, but Charles V created a massive empire when he united Spain with the Holy Roman Empire, but the beginning of the Reformation and revolts in Spain made his empire look weak. So France, now worried about Charles, backed Henry II of Navarre in reclaiming his lost lands in Spain in 1521. But this left France surrounded. The Spanish and the English invaded France, while Francisco Sforza was installed as the new Duke of Milan. Francis himself was captured in 1525, but was released the next year, and he created the Anti-Imperial League of Cognac. This league included all of those fearful of Charles, which included Milan and had the backing of England. This alliance, however, failed. A rebellion in Florence ousted the Medici, Admiral Andrea Doria restored the Republic of Genoa after years of being under French control, and Charles's troops sacked Rome. So Francis agreed to give up all his claims on Italy, Artois and Flanders in 1529, and Charles agreed to help reinstall the Medici, but would get Milan when Francisco Sforza died. Francisco eventually died in 1535, and Charles's son Philip became the new Duke of Milan. Francis, however, was unwilling to accept this and formed an alliance with the Ottomans, who had been fighting Charles sporadically since 1525. The Ottoman Navy raided the Italian coast, while Francis moved his troops into Savoy. Although Francis failed to take Milan, Charles accepted a ceasefire in 1538. And during the peace, Charles continued to contend with the Reformation and the Turks. After Charles's disastrous expedition against Algiers in 1541, Francis used this opportunity to attack his empire with the help of Protestant leaders and the Turks. The French moved into Luxembourg while the Ottomans sacked Nice, but the Protestant prince William of Jülich-Cleves-Berg was defeated and the French failed to take Perpignan. Henry VIII of England would go on to join Charles in invading France, but the two failed to coordinate their attacks, so Charles sued for peace. The final war was caused by Otto Farnese being elected Duke of the new state of Parma. He sought protection from the French, so Charles and the papacy invaded in 1551. Henry sent an army into Savoy and forced the Pope to make peace. Charles's forces meanwhile were crushing a rebellion in Siena, plus he was struggling to govern over his vast empire, so began to abdicate and divide his empire between his son and brother. Also, the new Pope, Paul IV, was anti-Spanish, and he organised an alliance to attack Naples, while Mary I of England backed her husband Philip, the new King of Spain. Although France took Calais and Corsica, debts forced them to make peace in 1559. A year later, France surrendered Savoy, meaning they gained nothing in Italy. Spain became a dominant force on the peninsula, and Venice and Savoy were the only truly independent Italian states.